You work it out. I'm sick and tired of trying to make this work with you guys.
Watch closely. This is the exact moment Kody Brown stopped caring about his wives and kids, and the whole family started falling apart. We've got so much to dive into today, so let's not waste any time. Let's jump straight into it. Hey everyone, what's up? It's Elena here, and welcome back to my channel Reality Nexus X, Season 15, Episode 4. This episode feels like the turning point when Kody gave up on his family. Setting aside his poor decisions, it's understandable how managing 4 wives could become overwhelming. From the start, Kody was clearly in over his head. Supporting 4 wives and 18 children on billboard sales and handguns? No chance without a TV deal. After the move to Vegas, it became obvious Kody lost interest in his first 3 wives. He continued for the show's sake, and it worked, with the series now approaching its 20th season. Handling 4 spouses and that many children sounds exhausting. Kody kept marrying, hoping to find happiness. He finally did with Robyn. It's unfortunate he hasn't admitted that openly, instead choosing to play the victim. A man with integrity would have taken the show money early on, got his finances in order, and quietly divorced off-camera. Instead, Kody became addicted to the money and kept lying to maintain appearances. Rather than being upfront, he used passive-aggressive tactics, hoping the wives would leave him to avoid being the bad guy. Of course, this strategy backfired as the truth came out. If his wives had left, he'd lose his priesthood and the spiritual perks tied to it. So he wanted them to stay but accept that their marriage was over. Selfish indeed. It also appears he stopped believing in the faith. For example, having his child baptized outside the religion is a clear affront to his church. If he truly believed, he'd have worked harder to fulfill his role. Meanwhile, Robyn still clung to the polygamy ideal, while Kody wanted a monogamous marriage. So the charade dragged on. Even if Kody wanted monogamy with Robyn, he owed the first 3 wives honesty instead of treating them poorly and stringing them along. Kody married multiple wives partly to prove his father wrong and partly to feel like a stud. But this was doomed from the start. No one forced him into any of it. He was an adult making these choices. He emotionally and financially exploited his wives and failed to take responsibility for his children, using his bitterness toward the mothers as an excuse for neglect. The moment the one big house idea was rejected marked the beginning of Kody's unraveling. It was the first major family decision he didn't get his way on. Christine firmly opposed it, preventing what would have likely been chaos and bad television. Losing that control was a blow to his ego, and he's been sulking ever since. That house was about status and control, a symbol of being the dominant man in their community. Without it, Kody lost his grip. Before Robyn arrived, the first 3 wives had a system. Kody's infatuation with Robyn destabilized everything. He was effectively done with the original wives the moment he met Robyn, but he pretended otherwise for years. Now, as a monogamist, he blames everyone but himself for the family's collapse. He pitted his wives against each other while claiming to be a devoted family man, then abandoned 3 wives and their children when things got complicated. He created this mess and refuses to own it. He was never cut out for polygamy, or monogamy, or responsible fatherhood. Ultimately, the real breaking point was not just the loss of the big house plan, but Kody's refusal to foster relationships with his children independent of their mothers. That inability to separate his feelings for the wives from his role as a father is unforgivable. Here's what they don't want you to know about Robyn and Kody's perfect marriage, the secrets that could change everything. There's been speculation about the timeline of Robyn and Kody's relationship, especially regarding whether they were intimate before their official marriage. The engagement photos and body language suggest a closeness that seems beyond a typical pre-marriage relationship. Kody has become noticeably angry and avoidant when asked about premarital relations, which raises questions. During the time, Kody was driving hours to visit Robyn before her move to Utah. Where was he sleeping? Did he always bring the older daughters, Maddie, Mykelti, Aspine, along? It seems likely they found private time together. Some speculate that Kody's old sports car was used for private moments. It's also possible the older daughters were brought as chaperones to prevent inappropriate behavior, closely watching Kody and Robyn to ensure boundaries were kept. This theory adds a new perspective to Robyn's purity talks. Robyn's purity speech seems contradictory given what is suggested about their relationship. The fact that she delivered such talks in front of teens and younger children, including boys, is questionable. It seems inappropriate both in content and in timing, especially filming it for television. If the older children knew about Robyn and Kody's closeness and possible premarital intimacy, the talks become disingenuous. Examining the timeline around the birth of Sol, who is about 18 months younger than Truly, born roughly 6 weeks before Robyn and Kody's official wedding, it appears the wedding reception was in May and Sol was born the following October. Sol was likely conceived during the family's vacation in January 2011. This timing suggests that Robyn and Kody had been married for several months before Sol's conception, but the closeness beforehand seems undeniable. There is a general sense that Robyn and Kody were spiritually married or committed before the show's official timeline, possibly with Kody acting as the spiritual authority performing their sealing privately. Their behavior did not align with waiting until after the formal ceremony. For example, Robyn herself implied that the engagement kiss sealed the relationship in her mind, suggesting they were already committed or married before the official wedding. The older wives and children may have been aware, or at least suspicious, of the premature intimacy between Robyn and Kody. Sending daughters as chaperones during visits supports the idea they were trying to control or monitor the situation. The dynamic of jealousy and control during Robyn's courtship was evident. Kody's admission of premarital sex with a college girlfriend contrasts with his reaction to questions about premarital relations with Robyn, revealing an inconsistent stance and possible defensiveness. This complexity casts doubt on the narrative of Robyn's purity and the timing of her marriage to Kody. It also raises questions about how Kody and Robyn portrayed their relationship to the family and viewers. The tension and secrecy around these issues continue to impact family dynamics and relationships with the original wives and children. Robyn Brown just crossed a line no one saw coming. Here's why her main family claim is the biggest betrayal yet. Robyn did it again. Did anyone catch Mrs. Kody Brown saying the other wives were more concerned about the kids who don't live at home? Meanwhile, all her kids are still at home, and she thinks the focus should only be on them. Seriously? I rewound that part twice to make sure I wasn't hearing things. She's absolutely despicable. Christine and Janelle spent much of COVID in Salt Lake and North Carolina because their husband chose to ride out the pandemic with Robyn, his favorite wife. None of the other wives or the OG 13 kids were welcome in Kody's home. Robyn even called her household the main family. She actually thinks that because Kody is there, her household is the hub of the family. It's laughable. I'm looking forward to the day her kids finally leave. When it's just Robyn and Kody left in that huge house, she'll regret all the control she's tried to hold over them. Her kids will start making their own decisions, and she won't be able to micromanage anymore. Honestly, it doesn't seem like they've been raised to be self-sufficient. If preparing kids for adulthood means teaching them independence, she's failing miserably. And let's be real, if the adult daughters need help choosing clothes every morning, how are they supposed to handle life on their own? She leaves the nanny to do all the real parenting, while she spends time online shopping and obsessing over doll dresses. They probably had to buy that massive house because they ran out of room for all their art and shopping hauls. Will her kids ever leave? I doubt it. They probably don't have the skills to care for themselves. It seems like she wants them to stay home forever, clinging to her and Kody. What happens if Kody wants more kids with a new, younger wife? If that happens, it would be karmic payback for Robyn's controlling ways. But Kody seems too spoiled by Robyn and her kids' constant attention to consider leaving. The whole family dynamic is a mess. Kody has biological grandkids who barely know him, while Christine's new husband is already called Grandpa. Meanwhile, Kody's focus is on his tenders, the young women who don't drink, swear, or get tattoos because they're obedient like their mom, and Kody wants to show off how proud he is. Robyn once moved the entire family to Flagstaff just to follow her son to college, showing she only really cared when the kid was physically near her. Her real message is clear: stay home, stay important. She even claims mothers stop parenting when kids turn 18, which is ridiculous. She's the one still clinging to her kids like a lifeline. She has always had that evil stepmother vibe, caring only about her own kids and never about the others, unless they fawned over her. She tries to be the center of the family, but the rest of them have moved on and mostly turned out fine without her and Kody's drama. So Robyn, keep calling your household the main family. When your kids finally move out, you'll be left with a huge empty house, a husband who clings to you, and plenty of time to regret your choices. Want to see a cringeworthy, over-the-top narcissist moment? Kody just made his daughter's baptism all about him, and it's painfully obvious. Kody managed to turn Aurora's baptism request into a performance all about him. First, it was my relationship with God, some dramatic tears, and only then a brief mention of Aurora. Typical. It seems Robyn has trained her kids to ask Kody to be involved in things he might not naturally care about, just so he can make it about himself. Meanwhile, other moms let their kids make their own choices. Imagine that. Kody is the ultimate spotlight seeker. Remember how he wanted to attend Christine's wedding just to outdance her new husband? He imagined himself stealing the show, but really, he'd look more like the awkward Duke of Weselton from Frozen. He's convinced he's the main attraction. Conceited doesn't cover it. Everything revolves around him and Robyn. No one else matters. Why not ask Aurora's mom to baptize her? Because in AUV, LDS, FLDS, and similar groups, women aren't allowed to hold the priesthood. Only men have that authority and spiritual power. So it makes sense Aurora would ask her dad. He's the priesthood holder, even if he's unfamiliar with her current faith. There was a woman pastor at one of the churches Aurora visited earlier, but not the one they ended up joining. The new church allows female ministry, but all the real power positions are held by men. This reminds me of when a woman wanted to officiate a wedding at an LDS church meeting house. The bishop initially approved, but revoked permission when he found out the officiant was female. The replacement botched the ceremony, so the woman ended up performing it informally outside. Only men are recognized as religious authorities for official rites, so it's surprising Kody, who isn't even part of this church, got to participate in the ceremony simply because he's male. Also, Robyn in a wet white shirt in front of everyone, a high-value woman indeed. That scene was as awkward and staged as the infamous ear-piercing episode, Over the Top Cringe. Kody wondered if they'd ask him about his role in the church, as if they'd hand him the mic to lead the service. Newsflash, they're there for Aurora, not him. He manages to make everything about himself: weddings, surgeries, pandemics, childbirth. It's his defining trait. Aurora looked nervous, probably caught between wanting to please her dad and dealing with their narcissism. It can't be easy living with two self-centered parents when you don't know anything else. The whole baptism felt like a forced attempt to create a feel-good family moment, but it ended up showcasing Kody's need to steal the spotlight. When Kody entered the church, it was like the walls themselves recoiled. He thinks it's his show, and everyone else is just a supporting cast. His involvement is always filtered through "how does this benefit me?" So no surprises here. Kody made Aurora's baptism all about himself. The real question is, when will he not? And brace yourself for the baptism party afterward, because of course he'll use it as another chance to show off his legendary dance moves. They say every show needs a villain, but what if that villain destroyed everything and saved the series? Meet the woman behind the chaos. Robyn surprised a lot of people when she claimed she made significant contributions in the early years. After some consideration, it turns out those contributions were basically her absence. Her expression always seems a little too perfect, shy and pretty sure, but also like she's desperately trying not to lose it. Honestly, she looks like she needs an enema or is trying to hold one in. When it comes to what she actually brought to the table, it was the kind of chaos every reality show craves: division, drama, debt, and plenty of lies. Without that, Sister Wives would have been a brief curiosity, like other polygamy shows that fizzled out fast. Without a villain and her loyal sidekick, this show wouldn't even be remembered. She added serious debt, which ended up on the shoulders of one of the original wives. One undeniable skill: she's fluent in Kody speak and has been interpreting for him for years. Before her, communication must have been an interesting challenge. And let's not forget her infamous dance moves, contributions of a different kind. In a way, she did contribute to the family's breakdown. Thanks to her, some members moved on to new lives, though the kids paid the highest price. That's a story too sad to dive into here. Early on, she hoped everyone would recognize her value to the family. Spoiler, it didn't really land. She also brought her cap-in-hand attitude, more like begging, really. And then there's the curious case of her glowing reviews for doll clothes, while showing little affection or positivity toward her sister wives or the children. Maybe dolls are safer. They don't talk back. Her Etsy shop and the attention it drew have been the subject of silence in censorship, which only fuels the mystery. One of her biggest gifts to the family was keeping Kody locked away with her, saving everyone else from his narcissistic blow-ups and endless bad moods. In the end, Robyn's most tangible legacy might be the debt incurred through her divorce. Let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in the next video. Take care and much love to you all.